My dad and his family, his mum and dad, have now settled in Glasgow. He was working at Atco Motor Motors, and we haven't really mentioned my mum yet. Now, she came from the town of Kriegsharber, outside Augsburg in Bavaria. She emigrates to Bradford in Yorkshire, works as a child's nurse, and later works in a textile factory. My mum and dad, before the war, were both engaged to different people. But my mum and dad had kept touch with each other as best friends during the war. And after the war, they decided maybe we should meet and get together. So they met together at a romantic weekend in Carlisle on the Scottish-English border, and they decided to get married. They got married in the Glasgow New Synagogue in Pollokshields in Glasgow. I think this picture here is outside the Jewish restaurant called Janine's, where they went for a celebratory meal afterwards. You can see that my mum's in the middle, my dad's on the left, and the severe-looking people in black on the right is his dad Gustav or Guido, and his mum Babette, and various other friends or family members beside there. Pat's parents aren't there. And the reason they aren't there is because they were murdered in Auschwitz. And this is a copy of the letter which you see, which was received by my mum shortly after they got married, from the Red Cross, telling her that her parents had been murdered. Mrs. Irma Lichtenhauser of Halderstadt 6, Augsburg, declares the following: Morris Einstein, Isaac Einstein, Hermann Einstein, and myself were deported to the Auschwitz concentration camp on 8th of March 1943. All above 3 persons died in the gas chambers at Auschwitz. Max Einstein, a brother of the above man, was deported on 1st April 1942 to Piaski concentration camp in Poland, where he died. We're very sorry to send you such distressing news and ask you to accept our very sincere sympathy. Can you imagine the situation where you open a letter and it tells you that your mum and your dad have been murdered in a concentration camp? I can't imagine what it must have been like. I mean, Pat, obviously, my mum, knew she hadn't heard from them for a number of years, but you always hoped that maybe they were alive somewhere, maybe they just couldn't write or something like that, or didn't know where you were. But then to finally have these letters of confirmation telling you coldly that your parents have been murdered, and the reason they've been murdered, of course, is because they're Jews. They hadn't committed a crime. They weren't in an army. By accident of birth, they were born Jews, and they were murdered for that reason only. So this is a picture of Pat's parents, Isaac and Ida, and they were taken very shortly before she left Germany and came to Bradford. And to end on a happier note, there's a picture of my mum and dad at our wedding in June 1974, and a picture of our Anson family together, myself and my younger brother Howard together. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you found the story interesting. And there are much more details about my father's and mother's life story on our website, gatheringthevoices.com, and of course the other stories of 50 other people which we've interviewed as well.